My name is Kasper.
And I'm Kylie.
And I'm Ella.
And in this video we'll show you what it's like to visit Istanbul as a tourist in the low season.
And stay tuned until the end to see how our trip took a crazy turn.
Welcome to Istanbul!
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be our final day.
So we arrived at 6 a.m. into Istanbul airport. There was still quite a few hours before we needed to check into our Airbnb. So as we usually do when we go on our trips, we rented a car at the airport so that we have that freedom to drive around and come and go as we please. So this is our first day in Istanbul. We just arrived after a red-eye flight from Jeddah. Feeling pretty tired at the moment. Only had a couple of hours sleep before coming up to the mosque. We had a quick 20-minute power nap. So now we're ready to explore.
We are standing in front of the Camlica Grand Mosque here in Istanbul. A lot of people know the Blue Mosque and they know the Hagia Sophia, but this mosque might actually not be as familiar to a lot of people. However, it's actually the largest mosque here in Turkey. It was only just completed 3 years ago in March 2019.
It was now time to check into our lovely 2-bedroom Airbnb apartment, which was located next to the famous Galata Tower.
The first few days in Istanbul we had a bit of rain, so we explored the Beyoglu area and visited some of the many cozy cafes, sipped some tea and tried out the delicious Turkish pastries.
We're going to do a little bit of a baklava challenge. You're going to eat the whole thing in one bite.
Oh, how can it be?
Oh my god.
Another great area to visit in any kind of weather is the Spice Bazaar. Here you can of course buy all sorts of spices as well as sweets such as Turkish delights, nuts, jewellery and all sorts of souvenirs. It was pretty crowded when we were there, but a fun place to hang out, have a cup of tea while people watching.
What's it like?
Crunchy. Textures. An even bigger and more well-known bazaar is the Grand Bazaar. It is one of Istanbul's most visited tourist sites. The Grand Bazaar dates back more than 500 years and it consists of 61 covered streets with more than 4,000 shops. Here you can buy everything imaginable that all the shopkeepers will try to convince you that you really need. You will have to haggle pretty hard to get a good price. Prices often start 3 times higher or more than the price you really should be paying. There are also plenty of food options in the bazaar, and you often see tea makers delivering cups of tea to all the shopkeepers.
Not far from the Grand Bazaar, you'll find the Suleymaniye Mosque. The mosque dates back to 1557 and was the biggest mosque in Istanbul until the completion of the Camlica Mosque 3 years ago. There are some spectacular views over parts of Istanbul and the Bosphorus Strait from the gardens of the mosque, so the walk up the hill was definitely worth it.
One bridge we walked across a lot of times is the Galata Bridge. From the bridge there's some beautiful views of Istanbul.
There's always lots to see, loads of boats and ferries passing by, and also hundreds of fishermen who always seem to be there, rain, hail or shine. Istiklal Street is one of the main shopping streets on the European side of Istanbul. It has lots of cafes, restaurants.
What else does it have? And shops.
What else does it have? And shops. And it starts from the Galata Tower and goes all the way up to Taksim Square. It's always a treat to see the red tram coming down the street, and I always love hearing the sound of the bell ringing.
We went for a walk along Istiklal on a rainy Tuesday night, only to discover that the street was bustling with life, music and people everywhere.
Behind the Hagia Sophia Mosque, you will find the Topkapi Palace, which is a large museum that used to be the residence of the Ottoman sultans hundreds of years ago. Next to the Topkapi Palace, there is a beautiful park area with lots of stalls making corn, chestnuts, and popcorn.
Towards the end of our trip, we woke up to a beautiful snowy morning. Being from sunny Queensland in Australia, Ella was very excited about getting out into the snow. So we are on the way up in the Galata Tower, which was actually, when it was built, the tallest building here in Istanbul, or what used to be called Constantinople back then.
It's very chilly up here. We are very lucky. It hasn't snowed like this for about 37 years here in March in Istanbul. So we feel like this is a bit of a treat on our journey here in Istanbul today. So we look forward to showing you around.
snow continued the following day, and that night we received an email from Turkish Airlines that our flight home had been cancelled due to the predicted heavy snowfalls the following day. Because Turkish Airlines did not have any direct return flights in the weeks to come, they actually refused to find us another solution to return home, so we had no other choice but to request a refund and book another airfare with another airline 3 days later, and of course book another 3 nights at another Airbnb. The experience with Turkish Airlines was obviously very disappointing, but on a positive note, we got an extra 3 nights in Istanbul.
The next day, we got up early and walked over to the Sultanahmet district to see the snow-covered Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque. The Hagia Sophia dates back to 537 AD. Since then, it's been a cathedral and then was converted to a mosque in 1453 when the minarets were added, and then became a museum in 1935, and was just recently in 2020 reconverted back to a mosque. The Blue Mosque is located approximately 400 metres away from the Hagia Sophia. The Blue Mosque was completed in 1616. It is called the Blue Mosque because of the more than 20,000 turquoise tiles inside. Unfortunately, the mosque is currently under renovation, so there's not much to see inside.
It wasn't exactly ice cream weather when we were in Istanbul, but if you do decide to have an ice cream from one of the many stands, make sure that you are not in a hurry. They certainly put on quite a show, especially this guy that we came across near the Grand Bazaar.
It also comes with a rooftop terrace with a beautiful view of the Galata Tower here, and a view of the whole of Istanbul and the Asian side as well here.
A good way to get around Istanbul is by ferry. That way you can bypass the traffic, which is quite heavy at times. We were a bit surprised that some of the ferries didn't go more frequently, so make sure you check the schedules well in advance. On one of the extra days we had in Istanbul, we caught the ferry over to Balat, which is known for its colourful buildings, many cozy cafes and restaurants.
In this really cute little cafe, listening to a bit of Tracy Chapman, just about to drink some New Zealand coffee, but we're in Istanbul. It's such a cute little place. We're in Balat at the moment, beautiful coloured buildings, really nice streets, a little bit hipster, a little bit alternate, Super cute vibe. Very snowy still, so a little bit slushy out there, but other than that, it's so cute. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Ah, okay.
I think after here Balat, maybe we'll just catch a ferry over to Uskadar. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's walk around the markets over there and have a little look. Got it. We're ready to go to Uskadar. From Uskadar, there's a lovely boardwalk along the Bosporus Strait over to the Maiden's Tower. You might remember the Maiden's Tower from the James Bond movie The World Is Not Enough. It has served as a tax collection center, observation tower, a lighthouse and a quarantine station, and today it houses a restaurant and a cafe.
We can't make a video about Istanbul without mentioning their gorgeous street dogs. I've always said that you can tell a lot about a person based on how they treat animals. We were so touched by how the Turks really cared for their animals all over the city. We've travelled to over 65 countries, but I would have to say that this was the most amazing example of humans and animals coexisting in the same environment.
It is not uncommon to see people patting the dogs while waiting for a bus, or a cat jumping on a stranger's lap at a coffee shop.
Take number 45. So at the end of the day, we had a fantastic time in Istanbul. It was cold, a bit rainy, and we had a lot of snow, but we also had a bit of sunshine in between.
Even though we visited in the low season, the city certainly did close down. It was still such a lively vibe.
So would we travel to Istanbul again during the low season? Absolutely. We can't wait to return.